These two are felony domestic violence? Just right here. But these are move-ups? Okay, I can probably figure these two out. Oh, okay. Oh, thank you. I didn't realize that sticking it in the middle would cause problems. Live and learn. All right. We're going to start with Clement Izaroon. He's in the felony group. All right. Good morning, Mr. Izaroon. Mr. Izaroon, you were arrested and charged with criminal mischief over $1,000. I reviewed the affidavit in that case. I do find probable cause. You do qualify for the public defender. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You're also out on bond on 21 MM 5054, trespass on property after warning. I'm going to revoke the bond on that one and set it at 0.
Your Honor?
Yes, ma'am.
On his out on bond case, it's a trespass. Originally, we would have resolved it, but he had no criminal convictions. So we believe that he would possibly qualify for pretrial diversion. Downtown, I would just ask, since the trespass is nonviolent, and that you revoke and double the bond as opposed to revoking and holding him at no bond.
I don't have a problem with that. But what's he on, PTR? No. What was his original bond, 500? Okay,
Yes.
I'll revoke and set your bond at 1,000 on the trespass.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. I appointed the PD, right? All right. And I stayed the bond on the new charge.
The criminal mischief, I'm sorry, what was the bond amount, Your Honor?
1,000 on the criminal mischief, I stayed it. All right, thank you. All right, Cecil Punter. Morning, Mr. Punter. Mr. Punter, you were arrested and charged with possession of a concealed weapon by a convicted felon.
A knife. I didn't have no gun.
I would
I
advise you not
understand
to
that.
talk about the facts of the case.
And trespass on property after warning. I've reviewed the affidavit in this case, and I do find probable cause. I'm going to stay the bonds on that case. Well, actually, I'm going to reduce the bond on the concealed weapon to $2,500. And then you're out on bond on 21 MM 4938, trespass on property after warning. On that one, I'm going to revoke the bond and set it at 0. All right, you do qualify for the public defender. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Thank you, sir. He's got another one? He's got one for, all right, on the violation of domestic injunction. I don't have that paperwork.
Is it on there?
On this one? This one? All right. Oh, there it is. It's 20 MM 3125. Okay, I'll revoke on that one if he's out and set no bond. He appears to be escalating.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, who are we going to do now? Are we doing these? Those are all Spanish? Right here? Okay. All right, so I'm skipping Spanish right now, which brings me to Delbray Delgado. So this is felony domestic violence. Mr. Delgado, I don't see any victims here. You were arrested and charged with aggravated battery, domestic violence, tampering with a witness to hinder communications to a law enforcement officer, battery, and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. I reviewed the affidavit in this case. I do find probable cause. I'm going to set your bonds as followed. On count 1, aggravated battery, $2,500. On count 2, tampering with a witness, $1,500. On count 3, battery, 500, and on count 4, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, 1,000. You may have no contact with the victim in this case. You may not return to the place where this occurred. No weapons, no firearms. I will give you a one-time pickup with the sheriff's assist for your personal belongings. You qualify for the public defender, and I appoint the public defender to represent you. Thank you, sir. Shamar Henderson? Good morning, Mr. Henderson. Mr. Henderson, you were arrested and charged with battery, domestic violence battery by strangulation. I've reviewed the affidavit in your case. I do find probable cause. You do qualify for pretrial release. So I'm going to place you on pretrial release. You may have no contact with the victim in this case. You may not return to the place where this occurred. No weapons, no firearms. I will give you a one-time pickup with the sheriff's assist. Did I appoint the PD? If I didn't, I'm appointing, yeah. You qualify for the public defender, I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Dylan Hodges. Mr. Hodges, good morning. You're charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon without intent to kill, domestic violence battery by strangulation, and battery causing bodily harm. Court's reviewed the affidavit in this case. I do find probable cause. I'm going to set your bonds as followed: $2,500 on the ag assault with a deadly weapon, $500 on the domestic violence battery by strangulation, and $250 on the battery. You may have no contact with the victim in this case. You may not return to the place where this occurred. No weapons, no firearms. I will give you a one-time pickup with the sheriff's assist. You do qualify for the public defender, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Thank you, sir. All right, Dwayne Jordan, sorry. Morning, sir. Mr. Jordan, you were arrested. I'm over here. You were arrested and charged with battery on a person 65 years of age or older and domestic violence battery. I've reviewed the affidavit in this case. I do find probable cause. I'm going to set your bonds at $500 on each count for a total of $1,000. You may have no contact with the victim in this case. You may not return to the place where this occurred. No weapons, no firearms. I will give you a one-time pickup with a sheriff's assist. Did I grab this? You do qualify for the public defender, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Thank you, sir. Christopher Spielman. All right, I'm going to find he waived his right to a first appearance. Mr. Spielman is charged with battery on a law enforcement officer, violation of a domestic injunction, and resisting an officer without violence. I did review the affidavit in this case. I do find probable cause on all counts. On the battery on a law enforcement officer, I'm setting his bond at $1,500. On the violation of the domestic injunction, bond is set at $1,000. On the resisting an officer without violence, bond is set at $250. He may have no contact with the victim in this case. He may not return to the place where this occurred. No weapons, no firearms. I will give him a one-time sheriff's assist pickup for his personal belongings. He does qualify for the public defender, and I will appoint the public defender to represent him. And what happened to Zilcolina Aguilar? Wilbur? He's Spanish? Okay. You guys want, do you have the Spanish folks? Oh, Do you have the Spanish folks back there? You want to do the Spanish folks, if I can get an interpreter on the line? All right, who's this gentleman?
This is Mr. Avis Ramirez.
Jose?
Oh, yeah, that's the misdemeanor domestic violence. All right, let's do those real quickly since you have them up, and we have witnesses here, and then I'll go on to the next. So he's Spanish. I'll leave him over there. All right, good morning, sir. You are charged with dating violence, battery. Is there a witness on him? Do you have a witness on Jose Alvizera? Oh, it's Alviz Ramirez. There's a witness here?
Yes.
Okay. Sir, do you speak English?
Yes.
Does your witness speak English?
Yes.
Okay. All right, I need the witness on that case, please. Morning, ma'am. Raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
State your name, please.
Aileen Figueroa?
All right, ma'am, are you the alleged victim in this case?
Yes.
Can you tell me what it is you want to tell me?
It was all just a misunderstanding. I drank and we got a rental out here. We came on vacation and I thought he had tried to take the car keys, but they were in my pocket the whole time, so it was all a misunderstanding.
And what is it you're asking the court to do?
I don't want to press any charges or anything. I just would like him to be released.
State, you have any questions?
Just a few questions, Your Honor. Ma'am, do you know who called 911 in this case?
I'm sorry?
Do you know who called 911 in this case, ma'am?
Me.
And at that time, did you feel threatened?
No.
You didn't feel threatened when you called 911?
No, I was just worrying about my car keys because I didn't want him to drive if he had drank.
Okay. Was anybody else present when this happened?
My friend, but she doesn't want anything to do with like anything.
Okay. Do you know if your friend saw this happen?
Yeah, she saw the same thing.
Okay, you said you guys were just visiting Florida?
Yeah, we're on vacation.
Okay.
We just got to Orlando yesterday for a concert.
Has anything like this ever happened before?
No,
And you said there might be some alcohol that contributed to this. Do you believe alcohol contributed to his actions, ma'am?
it was more so me trying to chase him for the car keys because I thought, but they were in my short pocket the whole time.
Okay. I mean, are you saying, did he ever put his hands around your throat or anything like that?
No,
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
He does qualify for the public defender. I'll appoint the public defender. Do you have any questions?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
thank you.
All right, I've reviewed the affidavit. I do find probable cause for the battery. I've considered the testimony this morning. State, you have anything you want to argue?
Yes, Your Honor. State would be asking for no contact, given the fact that this happened in the last 24 hours, and there were injuries present, noticeable bruising.
Defense.
And I would just argue for a no hostile contact, Your Honor. It appears they do not reside together anyway, Your Honor, and it does not appear he has a violent criminal history. So I just ask that you take that into consideration.
Okay, I've reviewed like I said, I've reviewed this. I've also reviewed his criminal history. He has one prior failure to appear, and he's from Delaware. So at this time, what I'm going to do is set the bond at $2,500. I consider him a higher flight risk because of those two factors. I'll enter the no hostile contact order, meaning you guys can have contact, but no more incidents like last night. No alcohol. It appears alcohol was a contributing factor here. No weapons, no firearms. And you are ordered to appear for all of your court appearances here in Orange County. Thank you. Thanks. Dalita Jacques. That's a Spanish one is what they're telling me. I am in a second, just, yeah. I'm going to try and get some of these witnesses cleared out. Thanks. I know, I'm saying like 3 things at one time. You can't read my mind?
English, right?
Good morning, ma'am. Ma'am, you were arrested and charged with battery. I reviewed the affidavit in this case. I do find probable cause. And I'm going to stop doing your job. You can swear at the witness. We have a witness here. Thanks.
Raise your right hand, please. Raise your right hand. Your other hand. Your other hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, truth.
Please state your name for the record and spell your last name.
Shatley Jacques, Chatly, Jacques, Jaquez.
All right, sir, you can put your hand down. All right, sir, are you the alleged victim in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you want to tell the court?
We was having misunderstanding.
I'm sorry?
We was mad, and then some stuff was happening, but I was called 911 because I was on emotional, but I don't want to charge anything. I want the court dismiss everything.
Okay. State.
Yes, Your Honor. The defendant, did she damage your vehicle when she left, sir?
Yes.
And has anything aggressive like this ever happened before?
That's the first time.
This is the first time?
Yeah.
Okay. And you said you called 911 because you were emotional at the time?
Yes.
I mean, at that point in time, did you fear for your safety?
The first things, that's for the first thing, I was called 911.
Okay, you were concerned for your safety?
Yeah.
If this was to ever happen again, would you be afraid to call 911?
The first time that happened, and then on this case, I cannot handle it by myself, I have to call 911 to keep the king controller. That's it.
Do you feel like if this was to happen again, you wouldn't be able to control the situation?
But I hope that not happen anymore.
Okay,
I hope so that not happen.
okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
She does qualify for the public defender. I'll appoint the public defender to represent her. Do you have any questions?
No, Your Honor, no questions.
All right, thank you, sir. Appreciate your input.
Thank you.
State.
Yes, Your Honor, state would just advocate for no contact in this case, given how recent it was. The video surveillance, the struggle that did occur, and the fact that a X-shaped tire iron was thrown at the victim's vehicle, causing some significant damage to that after the battery happened.
And Your Honor, I would just argue for no hostile contact. My client has no criminal history, no violent history, and as stated by the witness, as shown by the witness, he is willing to call 911 if anything happens in the future. So I just ask that you take that into consideration.
Thanks. I've reviewed the affidavit. This appeared to be a mutual combat situation, which you started and took further than he did. So taking that into account, the fact that you have no criminal history at this time, I'm going to place you on pretrial release. I'm going to order you to have no hostile contact with your husband. That means no more of these physical fights. Y'all can yell at each other as much as you want, but no physical fights. No weapons, no firearms. Thank you. Romaro Jenkins. Is there a witness on that one? Is there anyone here on Romaro Jenkins in the audience? Nope, okay. Good morning, Mr. Jenkins. Mr. Jenkins, you were arrested and charged with domestic violence battery. I've reviewed the affidavit in your case. I do find probable cause. You do not qualify for PTR. Um, I'm going to set your bond at $500. No contact with the victim in this case, no return to the place where this occurred, no weapons, no firearms. I will give you a one-time sheriff's assist to pick up your belongings. He's got a hold out of Lake County, right? Okay. You do qualify for the public defender. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Thank you. Ma'am. Dontario Moore. Good morning, Mr. Moore. Mr. Moore, you're charged with battery dating violence. I've reviewed the affidavit in your case, and I do find probable cause. You do not qualify for the public defender, sir. You're going to need to hire your own attorney. And I have a witness here, it appears, so thanks.
Please raise your right hand. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Please state your name for the record and spell your last name.
Jamiski Manley, Manlur.
You put your hand down, sir. Sir, can you tell me what it is you want me to know about this case?
Yesterday was the anniversary of my mother's death after 5 years.
Well, I'm having trouble understanding you. There you go.
Yesterday was the anniversary of my mother's death after 5 years, and I found out that my sister had COVID as well as yesterday. So I have depression, and I've been with Mr. Moore for 10 years off and on, and sometimes I used him yesterday as a verbal punching bag. So basically, I cornered a dog into a corner. Things did get heated verbally, and
He what? You need to speak up, sir.
things did get heated with words. All I just asked that it was a misunderstanding on my part and let him be free because he does work. He needs to go to work tomorrow, so it's my fault. I can honestly say it's my fault this time around.
Thank you. State.
Yes, Your Honor. You were the only one there observed with injuries, is that correct, sir?
Yes,
And so, I mean, did you call 911 in this case?
I did.
And when you called 911, did you feel threatened when you did that?
No, I didn't feel threatened.
Okay. Would you ever be afraid to call 911 again if this happened?
No,
You believe the defendant would prevent you from calling 911?
no.
And I apologize, sir, if I might not have caught this, but did you say has this ever occurred before? Anything
No,
like this?
it hasn't occurred before, but we have argued before. I mean,
You have arguments for? Okay. Do you currently work?
yes, I do work.
And does he work too?
Yes, he works for Waste Pro Management.
Okay. You're not currently in fear of him?
I'm sorry?
You're not currently in fear of the defendant?
Can you repeat that one more time?
You are not currently in fear of the defendant?
Oh, no.
Okay. No further questions.
All right, thank you, sir. Mr. Moore, you have a hold for Bradford County. And even though you don't qualify for PTR, so I'm going to set your bond at $500. I'm going to order you to have no hostile contact, meaning no physical altercations, you understand that? No weapons, no firearms. You do need to get your own attorney for this case. All right, thank you, sir. Austin Perone.
Medical, Your Honor.
Do we expect it to be long-term medical or? Do you know? Do you have any idea?
I'm willing to waive the appearance, Your Honor.
All right. With the waiver of the appearance, he's charged with dating, violent stalking, petty theft, criminal mischief. Reviewed the affidavit in this case. I do find probable cause. I'm going to set bonds at $500 on count one, $250 on count two, and $250 on count three.
Is that 200, Judge, on the second count?
250, 250. So it's a total of 1,000 on the bond. I'm ordering to have no contact with the victim or the victim's family in this case. That includes no texting, emailing, Snapchat. It means absolutely no contact. No return to any place where the victim is, house, business. He's not to come within 500 feet of her, quite frankly. No weapons, no firearms. They don't live together, so there's no need for a sheriff's assist. And I will provisionally appoint the public defender's office pending him filling out the paperwork. Wilkie Pierre.
Yes, we'll keep.
Mr. Pierre, you're here on a bond, I'm sorry. You're arrested on a violation of PTR condition on a domestic violence case and resisting an officer without violence. You do not qualify for the public defender's office. I did review the affidavit in this case, and I do find probable cause on both of those. On count one, the violation of the PTR condition, I'm going to set your bond at $1,000. On count two, I'm going to set your bond at $500. The resisting an officer without violence, you may have no contact with a victim in this case. You may not return to the place where this occurred. No weapons, no firearms. You're out on bond on a DV battery, 21 mm 5171, I believe. Yeah, 5171. On that one, I'm revoking your bond and setting it at 0. Thank you. You'll need to hire your own attorney, sir. Thanks.
Judge, briefly, we do have some victims here for cases that we had already gone over. I don't know if it'd be necessary to bring them up at this point. I just wanted to address that with you.
Oh, thank you for letting me know. Let me let the victims know. Folks, prior to your arrival, we went through Delbray Delgado's case, Shamar Henderson, Dylan Hodges, Dwayne Jordan, and Christopher Spielman. Bonds have been set on all of those cases, and conditions have been set on those cases. So if you're here for those cases, they've already been heard. You'll need to contact the state attorney's office if you're the alleged victim in those cases and have any issues with any of the conditions that were set. Thank you.
Say something.
Your Honor?
Yes,
No,
ma'am.
we do not represent, he does not qualify for the Office of the Public Defender. However,
Who are we talking about?
Mr. Pierre,
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
I can't say the last name. Wilkie. I did briefly speak with him as a friend of the court and advised not to talk about the facts. However, he would still like to address the court today, so he would like to tell you something about his case.
Sir, you're on the record. Anything you say can be used against you.
Yes.
So it's just not a good idea to talk about your case. And this is not an evidentiary hearing. I'm just here to tell you what you're charged with and set bond. Having said that, you can address those issues. Go ahead.
What is, I'm trying to understand, what is the bond you said?
You have $1,000 on count one and $500 on count two for a total of $1,500. You have no bond on the DV battery that you were out on bond on. It's been revoked for having been arrested again.
What is the DV battery? I don't.
Sir, I don't know. You're going to need to ask lawyers about that.
You
Right.
bond on domestic violence.
I don't know anything of the facts of the other case. You were arrested and charged with domestic violence battery. You bonded out. It's been revoked. You need to get an attorney, sir. Okay. Thank you. Kevin Schrader?
Okay.
Did I skip somebody? No. Mr. Schrader, good morning. You're charged with violation of PTR condition on a domestic violence injunction. I reviewed the affidavit in this. It's a warrant I'm sorry, I've reviewed the warrant. Your bond is set at no bond on that one. Additionally, you're out on possession on case number 21 CF 8444. You're out on bond and PTR, possession of cocaine, aggravated assault, domestic violence, possession of drug paraphernalia. Your bond on that matter is revoked and set at 0. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, if
Who
I
are
may.
you? Can you swear her in, please?
I'm
Hold on.
dropping.
Hold on.
Okay.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your name for the record. Spell your
April
last
Michelle
name.
Martinez. Okay, I'm dropping the charges because they're not accurate. But we live in Lakeland, and we didn't have enough time because I Ubered here today, and it was $62, and it's gonna be 62 to get back home, and I don't have money to get back home, so I don't know how I'm gonna go. He was supposed to report the next day. We couldn't make it. We called the woman. Actually, my friend, he stays with my friend, and I stay elsewhere. But he called the woman and told her he wasn't able to make it the second day because Jesse, my uncle, couldn't take off work to take him.
Ma'am, he's here on a warrant for violating a pretrial condition.
Yeah, because
okay?
we were unable to show up.
I understand that, but he's here on a warrant. I don't have any authority on the warrant. All I can do is tell him he's on a warrant, it's a no bond. I'm revoking his other bond, so he's getting credit for the time he's doing while he's here,
So,
right? He does qualify for the public defender, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. I'm not going to release him. He's on a warrant for no bond. This explanation is something you need to speak to the state attorney and the judge on the warrant about.
who is that?
I have no idea,
Because
ma'am.
I'm dropping the charges on the domestic.
You'll need to speak to the state attorney about that. I do not drop charges or dismiss charges. He's on a no bond status, okay? Thank you.
So does anybody know how to take care of it? Does anybody in the courtroom know how to take care of any of this stuff?
All right, we're done with your case, sir. You've got an attorney that's been appointed.
Who is his attorney?
Public Defender's Office.
Thank you.
Craig Steffen.
I just wasted $60.
All right, Mr. Steffen, good morning. Mr. Steffen, you were arrested and charged with domestic violence battery. I reviewed the affidavit in your case. I do find probable cause. You do qualify for the public defender. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. We have a witness on this one.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Please state your name for the record and spell your last name.
Nicole Steffen, Stefan.
All right, ma'am, what is it that you want to tell me?
Yeah, last night honestly was just stupid. My husband and I are under a lot of stress. I'm taking care of my elderly father. We had some issues with my mother-in-law or his mother with our child. I was just stupid. Verbally, things got out of hand. I should not have pushed and pushed verbally the way I did. I love him very much. I just think we need to work on our communication. And so things don't escalate the way they did last night. We've got kids, and I really don't want the no contact deal. I want him to be able to come home to our residence. I just want to work things out, and I apologize. I pushed him really to the limit. I feel it's almost my fault, really.
Ma'am, do you have prior domestic violence battery cases that involve Mr. Steffen?
Yeah, not in a long time, though.
And what do you mean by a long time?
Like, I don't know, 5, 6 years. We've been really, really good. It's just a lot of stress going on with both of our parents, basically. And I just think a lack of communication where things get built up inside and then it just releases. So I just think that we need to work on our communication a little bit better so things don't get this way. And I definitely need to work on finding my father a different residence because he's basically throwing a wrench into our family dynamics.
Okay. State?
Yes, Your Honor, briefly. Is it Nicole?
Yes.
Morning, Nicole.
Morning.
Did you you know who called 911 in this?
I did.
And when you did that, did you feel threatened at the time?
No,
Okay. And you indicated that there was some previous history. Do you know how many incidents it was?
I don't know, one or two, but that's a long time ago. We've been doing really, really good.
Okay. Now, do you believe alcohol or drugs contributed to what happened on this date?
I've been really trying to work on myself, so both of us been trying. So
You know if the
obviously, yeah, alcohol can be an issue with every situation,
Okay.
but we're really working on it.
was Mr. Stefan intoxicated at the time?
I grabbed his keys because I didn't want him to drive.
Okay. Because he was intoxicated?
What I thought.
Okay. Now, if something like this was to happen again, would you fear calling 911? Would you believe that he would prevent you from calling 911? Anything like that?
No, I think a better option would, instead of me provoking and pushing him to the limit that everything got to, I could have handled it properly if, hey, call an Uber or something like that. I handled it totally poorly.
Okay. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Do you have any questions?
No questions, Your Honor.
All right, State?
Yes, Your Honor, the state would be asking for no contact in this matter specifically because of prior documented domestic violence incidents. The law enforcement officer did see a significant mark on the victim in this case, and alcohol did contribute to the incident as per the police officer's report who observed the defendant in this matter quite intoxicated.
Spence? I think I appointed the PD. If I didn't, I'm appointing you now.
Your Honor, I'm going to leave it in your discretion.
Please,
All right.
Your Honor, could I say one more thing?
Yes, ma'am.
We do have a daughter, and I really think it would be detrimental for him to stay with his mother. And I really think it'd be in the best deal for our family is to her to have the most normalcy as possible. She was not involved in this situation. This is where it all started with his mother-in-law because our daughter was there. She's just not a good person in my eyes. I don't think that's a good fit because I know that's where he's going to go. Honestly, I really believe that we can work on things.
All right, thank you, Ms. Steffen.
Please. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Steffen, I'm going to place you on pretrial release. However, given the history between the two of you and the fact that for some reason your wife thinks it's her fault that you decided allegedly to hit her more than once, that's your fault if that's what happened. It's not hers. So I'm going to order you to maintain separate residences. You can have no hostile contact. I'm ordering you to have no weapons, no firearms, no drinking. Alcohol was clearly involved in this. Thank you. Okay, I have Miss Laura Umpia Rodriguez. Do we have anyone here on that case? Nope. All right, ma'am. Ma'am, you were arrested and I'm sorry, we do? Oh, here he comes.
Yeah, let them know that you're the witness in the case, you're not the victim.
Thank you. All right, ma'am, you were arrested and charged with domestic violence, dating violence. I've reviewed the affidavit in your case. I do find probable cause. You qualify for the public defender. I'm appointing the public defender to represent you. We appear to have a witness here.
I'm the witness.
Thanks.
Raise your right hand, please.
Maybe we need some translator,
What language is it that you need a translator for?
Spanish.
Yeah, I don't have the interpreter on the line yet. I'll see if I can get him.
All right.
Good morning, Your Honor. This is Alec Figueroa, certified Spanish Court interpreter.
All right, have you been previously sworn this morning?
Not yet, Your Honor.
Do you swear to translate from English to Spanish, Spanish to English testimonies given?
I do.
All right, we're in Orange County. We're on case number 21MM5276. The witness needs the interpreter.
Okay.
All right.
Please raise your right hand.
Levanta la mano derecha.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Jura, promete que el testimonio que rendirá será la verdad, solo la verdad y nada más que la verdad.
Sí.
Yes.
Please state your name for the record and spell your last name.
Diga su nombre, por favor, y deletree su apellido.
Horacio Barreto, Barreto.
Horacio Barreto, Barreto.
All right, you can put your hand down, sir.
Baje la mano, señor.
What is it that you want to tell the court?
¿Qué es lo que usted desea decirle al juzgado?
Ok, lo que yo quiero decirle al juzgado es lo siguiente. Los cargos que se le opusieron a mi novia realmente no son los correctos. Nosotros no tenemos ningún dating issues, dating violence. Y el problema que sucedió en el apartamento, no hubo ni siquiera contacto con la víctima, simplemente se tuvo contacto con un teléfono, que fue lo que realmente fue lo que fue golpeado. No hubo contacto ni conmigo, ni hubo contacto con la víctima.
Okay, dame un segundo. What I wanted to tell to the court was that these charges that have been filed against her are incorrect. We have no dating issues. There was no dating violence. What happened in the apartment, there was no contact whatsoever with the victim. The only contact was with a phone that broke, but there was no contact with either myself nor with the victim.
¿Puedo decir algo más?
Can I say something else?
No, he is.
Yes.
Okay.
Diga.
Lo que sucedió en ese momento fue simplemente contacto con el teléfono porque a ella la estaban grabando sin su consentimiento.
What happened was there was only contact with a phone because they were recording without their consent.
Okay, thank you. State.
Bien, gracias.
No.
Hold on.
Okay.
Espere, señor.
State, you have any question?
Fiscalía, ¿alguna pregunta?
Briefly, Your Honor.
En breve.
You stated this was all over the phone, sir?
Usted mencionó que esto fue todo por el teléfono, señor.
Tuvimos otros problemas, discusiones más que todo por incidentes que pasaron en el pasado, pero lo que sucedió fue que llamaron a la policía simplemente porque ella golpeó el celular y luego la niña intentó ir detrás de ella para golpearla, la roommate, que en este caso dirían que es la víctima, y como ninguna de las dos tuvo contacto, porque entre el papá de la roommate y yo separamos a las dos, pues
Okay.
en ese momento llamaron a las dos niñas, llamaron al 911.
Okay, dame un segundo. There were some other issues, but mainly it was just arguments because of some past incidents. What happened was she hit the phone, and after that, the other girl, who is the roommate, went after her to hit her. That's when the cops got called. The other roommate in this case would be the alleged victim, but nothing happened between them, and the victim's dad and myself, we separated them, so nothing happened, and then they both called 911.
Now, was there a Horatio? Sorry, that's you, sir. Was there a Brian Harmis there?
Y había un Horacio, perdón, ese es usted. ¿Había un Brian Harness allí?
Ese es el papá de la víctima.
That's the victim's father.
And he observed the situation occur. Is that correct?
Y él presenció la situación que ocurrió, ¿correcto?
Sí.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I have no further questions.
No tengo más
Question.
preguntas.
No questions, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, sir.
Defensa, no tengo preguntas. Bien, gracias, señor.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you.
State.
Yes, Your Honor. I believe Brian Harness did make a statement that he saw the defendant in this matter batter the victim, but from the police report, from what I'm seeing, the victim did initially deny being hit in the groin area, and then he changed his story, saying that the defendant attempted to punch him in the groin area twice, but missed. So there are just some inconsistencies that state is concerned about, Your Honor. The state would be requesting no contact.
Defense.
Your Honor, I would just ask that you consider the testimony here today, and the fact that my client has zero criminal history or violent history. I would ask for no hostile contact along with pretrial release.
All right, ma'am, I've reviewed all the testimony, I've heard the testimony, I've reviewed the facts in this case. I'm going to place you on pretrial release. I'm going to order you to have no hostile contact with everyone in this case. You need to control your temper, okay? No weapons, no firearms.
No.
Thank you. All right, while we have the interpreter, let's go ahead and do the Spanish cases. I have Wilbur Aguilar. This is going to be felony domestic battery. All right, this is I have for this one case number 2021 CF 9028. And I'm not seeing any witness come up. All right, good morning, sir. Mr. Aguilar, you were arrested and charged with domestic violence battery by strangulation. I've reviewed the affidavit in your case. I do find probable cause.
Perdón, no lo entendí bien.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite understand you.
Said, I've reviewed the affidavit in your case, and I find probable cause that you committed the crime of domestic violence battery by strangulation. I'm going to set your bond at $2,500. You may have no contact with the victim in this case. You may not return to the place where this occurred. No weapons, no firearms. I'll give you a one-time sheriff's assist to pick up your clothing and belongings. You do qualify for the public defender, subject to filling out the paperwork. I appoint the public defender to represent you.
Your Honor, on this out on bond case, I would ask that you not take any action. However, if you are, that you, as opposed to revoking and holding him at no bond, you're revoking double. It appears that's the only crime he's.
Oh, that's right. He's out on bond on 21 CT 4789. You want to be heard on that one, State?
Yes, Your Honor. What were the last couple digits there for 21 CT? What was it?
4789. It's
4789.
driving without a motor vehicle, without a valid driver's license.
State would leave it up to your discretion, Your Honor.
Yeah, I'll revoke and double the bond to 1,000.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir.
Okay, una pregunta más.
I have a question.
Yes.
I would advise you not talk about the Fox case.
No, solo
Okay.
sobre la fianza.
No, it's just in regards to the bond.
Okay.
O sea, pagando la fianza, puedo salir.
So if I pay the bond, I will be out?
Yes,
Okay. Gracias.
thank you. Have a good
Thank
day.
you.
Agustin Martinez. And this is case number 2021 MM5280. What did I do? Oh, it's all right in front of me. And we do have a witness here. All right, good morning, sir. Mr. Martinez.
Please raise
Good
your right
morning.
hand.
This is the witness that's being sworn in, Mr. Interpreter.
Does the witness need the Spanish interpreter as well, Your Honor?
She appears to, yeah.
Okay. Señora, levante la mano derecha, por favor.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
¿Jura promete decir la verdad, solo la verdad y nada más que la verdad?
Sí.
Yes.
Right.
Baja la mano.
Please state your name for the record and spell your last name.
Diga su nombre, por favor, y deletree su apellido.
Yaraibet López, Lopez.
¿Su primer nombre cuál es, por favor?
Yaraibet.
Daraibeth Lopez, Lopez.
All right, I'll be with you in a minute, ma'am.
Bien, ya hablaré con usted en un momento, señora.
Sir, you've been charged with domestic violence battery. I reviewed the affidavit in your case, and I do find probable cause. You do qualify for the public defender, subject to filling out, I'm sorry, you do qualify for the public defender. Yeah, subject to filling out the paperwork, and I do appoint the PD to represent you. Ma'am, what do you want to tell me about this?
Señora, ¿qué desea decir usted al respecto?
No, pues lo que pasó ahí en la casa, que él pues me agredió a mí y cuando yo ya iba para la salida también quiso agredir a mi hijo y él es menor de edad.
I just wanted to say that what happened at the house, he tried to attack me, and while I was approaching the exit, he also tried to attack my son, who is a minor.
All right, thank you, ma'am. State, you have any questions?
Gracias, señora. ¿Fiscalía alguna pregunta?
Yes, Your Honor. Ma'am, is your son's name Jason Lopez?
Sí. Señora, el nombre de su hijo es Jason Lopez.
Sí.
Yes.
And was he present? Was anyone else present during this event?
¿Había alguien más presente durante este incidente?
Sí, estaba mi niña también que tiene 10 años, se llama Anaí López y su hijo de él que se llama igual Agustín.
Yes, my daughter was there. She's 10 years old, and his son was Anaí Lopez is the daughter's name, and his son as well, Agustin.
And I apologize. How old was your son again?
Señora, ¿qué edad tiene su hijo?
El mayor tiene 13 años y la niña tiene 10 años. Su hijo de él tiene 16.
The oldest is 13, which is my son. My daughter is 10, and his son is 16.
Now, did your son have to also get in between you and the defendant to prevent him from getting closer to you?
¿Y su hijo tuvo que intervenir entre usted y el acusado para que él no se le acercara?
Sí, le dijo que a mí no me tenía por qué estar tocando y entonces fue cuando él se le quiso aventar encima. Le dijo que él tampoco tiene por qué andarle hablando así y se le fue encima a mi hijo.
Yes, he told them that he didn't have to lay his hands on me, and that's when he then tried to attack my son, saying that he couldn't talk to him like that, and came at him as well.
Has anything like this, has any incident of violence like this happened before?
¿Algún incidente de violencia como este ha ocurrido en el pasado?
Sí, siempre lo ha hecho él.
Yes, he's always doing this.
Okay. How many times, when you say always, how many times has something like this happened before?
Cuando me dice que siempre lo hace, ¿cuántas veces ha ocurrido esto?
Pues son varias desde que nos juntamos, que son 2 años que llevábamos juntos. Él en ciertas ocasiones me hacía lo mismo.
Several. In the 2 years that we've been together, he's done this to me several times.
Are you currently in fear of the defendant?
¿Usted siente temor del acusado?
Sí, porque él varias veces me ha amenazado que
si yo lo dejaba o cualquier cosa, él me mataba o que porque él ya conocía muy bien aquí los lugares en donde me iba a dejar.
Yes, because he has threatened me before, saying that if I leave him or if something happens, that he will kill me, and that he knows the places where he would just leave my body.
Okay, do you have any concerns that he will do anything retaliatory upon being released?
¿Teme usted que él pueda tomar alguna acción en represalia si queda en libertad?
Sí, porque él siempre me ha dicho que él tiene amigos que pueden hacer cosas contra mí también.
Yes, because he's always telling me that he's got friends who can do things against me as well.
Okay. Would you be afraid to call 911 if anything like this was to happen again?
¿Tendría algún temor usted de llamar al 911 si algo como esto vuelve a ocurrir?
Pues en qué forma tendría temor, pues solamente yo les hablaría pues en cosa que se me llegara a presentar él. Lo que yo ya no quiero es no tener contacto con él.
How would I be afraid of that if I will call them if anything happens? I just don't want to have any more contact with him.
Okay. Okay, thank you, ma'am. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Do you have any questions?
Gracias, señora. No tengo más preguntas. ¿Defensa?
No questions, Your Honor.
No tengo preguntas.
Thank you, man. I appreciate your coming in.
Gracias, señora.
Right. I don't need any argument on this one. Sir, court having found probable cause, I'm going to set your bond at $1,500 on this count, on this charge. I'm going to order you to have no contact with the victim. No contact means absolutely no contact. You can't call her, email her, text her, have your friends contact her. You can have no contact with her whatsoever. Do you have any questions about this? You may not return to the place where this occurred. No weapons, no firearms. I will give you a one-time pickup with the sheriff's assist. And I don't know whether he has an immigration hold or not. There's some indication he may have an immigration hold.
Your Honor, could the state also, since children were involved, and they don't share the children that were involved, could children, Jason Lopez, as well as the daughter of the victim, we ask for no contact with those children?
Yeah, those aren't his children. He has no right to have contact with them. So no contact with the children either. No contact with the victim or her family. Let me just put it that way. All right, thank you. And then I'm showing the last of the Spanish folks is Alejandro Diaz Lopez. Oh, I'm sorry, there's one more restriction on him, which is no alcohol, since he himself, during his interview, indicated he has an issue with alcohol. So
Hey,
on
señor,
Mr. Martinez, there's no alcohol.
Y señor, una condición más, se le prohíbe el consumo de ningún tipo de bebida alcohólica, ya que usted mismo ha indicado que tiene un problema con el alcohol, así que cero alcohol.
All right, now we have Alejandro Diaz Lopez. This is case number 2021 MM333. Good morning, sir. You're here on a charge of battery. I've reviewed the affidavit in your case. I do find probable cause.
Sí.
You do qualify for the public defender subject to filling out the paperwork, and I'll appoint the PD to represent you. There also appears to be a warrant for him out of Osceola County. Since that's a Ninth Circuit case, I'll appoint the PD to represent him on the Osceola warrant, but they're holding him there. So in this case, I'm going to set your bond at $500. No contact with the victim, no return to the place where this occurred, no weapons, no firearms, and a one-time assist with the sheriff to come pick up your belongings.
Está bien.
All right, thank you, sir.
Okay.
And I believe that's it for all the Spanish cases, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Moving on.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good
Thank
rest of
you,
your
you
weekend.
too. Robert Blackwood? All right. Morning, Mr. Blackwood. Mr. Blackwood, you were arrested and charged with possession of cocaine. Reviewed the affidavit in your case. I do find probable cause. You do qualify for the public defender. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you, set your bond at, you don't qualify for PTR, so I'm going to set your bond at $500. Thank you, sir. Shamar Caprice?
Okay, he's a medical, Your Honor.
Right, you want to waive or you want me to go, or want me to roll?
I'll waive, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Caprice charged with carrying a concealed firearm, possession of cannabis over 20 grams, possession of drug paraphernalia. I reviewed the affidavit in this case. I do find probable cause. I'm going to provisionally appoint the public defender to represent him, subject to him filling out the paperwork. Set bond on count one, the carrying a concealed at $1,000. Set bond on possession of cannabis over 20 at $500. And stay the bond on the possession of drug paraphernalia at $500. I'm sorry.
Who are you speaking on?
Shamar Caprice.
No, we have Drake. I think Drake's Dexter's medical. Who's next?
I'm announcing Caprice because she waived on Caprice. So I'm announcing his bond conditions on the record.
Is he medical? Caprice?
Is she,
Who's medical?
okay.
I thought-
Who is it that you were telling me was,
I heard it was,
Yep,
I
it was-
heard,
I'm doing felonies, so
I heard Caprice.
Caprice was medical, right?
Yeah, that's what I
So
heard.
the only thing I'm doing is announcing the bond conditions on Caprice because the defense waived his presence.
So you don't have a Caprice?
No, I don't.
Okay, let me see, Judge. The inmate number is 21018047.
I found the inmate number on here. I'm very proud of myself.
018047.
Pretty soon I could be a jail judge. But I'm not going to.
21018047.
Zero in my staff.
Between the masks, the list, the mask, taking everybody out of order today, I'm amazed we've gotten anything right.
18047.
Yep.
Bonded. Thank
He
you.
bonded? Okay, so everything I just said about Shamar Caprice, I take back for the record. So who is it that went to medical?
Dexter Drake's.
But we're not there yet.
Oh, I'm not at him yet. No. Who's this gentleman?
That's who I have.
This is Rick Fisher.
Okay, well, what about this case?
Who's that?
21018043.
See, it's not just me.
I don't know, I'm confused too, Your Honor. I had Drake next and then Fisher.
Me too. That's what I have, Drake's.
All right, here's who I have. We're talking about a different person. We have Christian Salamanca is the guy's last name. They ran his entire name together. It's Castañeda Salamanca. That's the one we're asking about now. 21018043. And then the next person's going to be Mr. Drake. Okay, and then we'll all be on the same page.
Kristen bonded.
He bonded? Okay, thank you. All right, so that takes care of those two. Now, Dexter Drake's is in medical, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you waiving I'll provisionally appoint the public defender to represent him.
Yes, Your Honor, we'll waive the appearance.
And actually, it's not provisional, he does qualify. So appearance has been waived, so Mr. Drake, or Mr. Dexter Drake, was arrested and charged with possession of ammunition by a convicted felon, 2 counts, and possession of methamphetamines. I've reviewed the affidavit in his case, and I do find probable cause. I'm going to set the bonds on the 2 possession of ammunition by a convicted felon at $1,000 each, and set the bond on the possession of methamphetamines at $500. No weapons, no firearms. And now, I believe we've hit Mr. Fisher. Good morning, Mr. Fisher.
Good evening. Good morning, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Fisher, you were arrested and charged with trafficking in a controlled substance over 4 grams. Reviewed the affidavit in your case, and I do find probable cause. You qualify for the public defender, so I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. I'm going to stay your bond at $100,000. There seems to be some confusion about what his bond is. Yeah, the correction says $1 million. The bond is actually 100,000. So I'm going to set his bond. Let me do it this way. I'm going to set his bond at 100,000.
And Your Honor, given the fact that he has no criminal history, would you consider lowering that bond amount?
No. All right, thank you, sir. Arthur Gray? Are we all very excited by this development? Oh, thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Gray.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Okay.
All right, Mr. Gray, you're charged with possession of methamphetamines. I reviewed the affidavit in this case. I do find probable cause. You're also charged with disorderly conduct. I reviewed the affidavit in that case and find probable cause. You qualify for the public defender on both cases, and I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You do not qualify for pretrial release. So on the possession of methamphetamines, I'm going to set your bond at $500. And on the disorderly conduct, I'll stay your bond at $250. All right, thank you, sir. Michael Gray. Good afternoon, Mr. Gray.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Mr. Gray, you were arrested on a warrant for a violation of a condition of pretrial release. The underlying charge is possession of cocaine. The bond on the warrant has been set at no bond. If you have not previously been appointed the public defender, I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. All right.
Yes, ma'am. I have a public defender. The day of the violation.
Don't talk about, there's nothing I can do about your warrant, so don't talk about the facts of your case. Tell your lawyer.
I'm not talking about the case. I'm just telling you. My lawyer told me that she was. The state came to me with a plea, and I told them I would take the plea, and they put the warrant. All that came the same day. So my lawyer told me to wait and see can she get the warrant squashed.
I can't quash your warrant is what I'm trying to tell you. I'm just here to tell you there's a warrant. You have to ask the trial judge to quash the warrant. So you need to talk to your lawyer. This is just first appearance. All I'm doing is telling you there's a warrant and you got no bond. You got to talk to your lawyer. Okay? Good luck to you, sir. Thanks. John Hedridge.
He's in the hospital, Your Honor.
Expected to be there for a while, I assume. You want to waive on Hedridge, or you want me to roll him?
I'm going to waive on his appearance, Your Honor.
Okay. You are, if you haven't been previously appointed, because he is out on bond, I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent him. He was charged on the new charge on resisting an officer with violence. Reviewed the affidavit. I do find probable cause. I'm going to stay the bond in that one at the $1,000. And on his trespass in an occupied structure, 21 MM 4148, I'm going to revoke his, wait a minute, what did he have? He was
ROR, Your Honor.
He was on ROR.
If you look at the facts in this case and the out on bond case, Your Honor, I believe there may be some mental health issues. In this case, he's speaking in what they call tongue, and then in the out on bond case, he was making unusual statements about saving the world.
So what I'm going to do on that one is I'm going to revoke the ROR and place him on pretrial release.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Oh, he doesn't qualify on this one. Does he qualify on the other one for pretrial release? He doesn't? All right. So I'll leave him on the ROR on that one because he does have a mental health problem apparently based on that. I'm taking no action on the trespass based on the mental health possibilities. All right. So is this Jaden Massey?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, come on up. All right, Mr. Massey, you were arrested and charged with carrying a concealed firearm. I've reviewed the affidavit in your case. I do find probable cause.
Your Honor, he does qualify for pretrial release.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah, he's from out of state.
Okay.
He has no criminal history, so I'm going to place him on pretrial release. No weapons, no firearms. You don't have a concealed carry permit, so no weapons, no firearms. As a condition of your release, and you're ordered to return to Florida for all court dates as directed by the trial judge. You do qualify for the public defender. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you, but you need to fill out the forms. Yes, thanks. Yeah, you have permission to return to Kentucky. Okay, thank you. Edison Valerio, or Ortega Valerio? Okay, that's, see how good I'm getting at this. 21018042.
You said Edison?
Yes, ma'am. Edison, you bonded? Okay, thank you. Would this be Andre Patterson? Good afternoon, Mr. Patterson. Mr. Patterson, you were arrested and charged with dealing in stolen property and no valid driver's license. I've reviewed the affidavit in both cases. I do find probable cause. You do qualify for the public defender. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you, and I'm going to stay the bonds in both cases. Thank you, sir. Jameel Prentice? Good afternoon, sir. Mr. Prentice, you were arrested, charged with possession of methamphetamines with intent to sell, possession of methamphetamines, possession of cocaine, possession of methamphetamines, MDMA, ecstasy, possession of cannabis less than 20 grams, and possession of drug paraphernalia. Reviewed the affidavit in your case. I do find probable cause. I'm going to set your bonds as follows. On the possession of meth with intent to sell, $5,000. On the possession of methamphetamines, possession of cocaine, and possession of meth, MDMA, ecstasy, on those three, I'll stay the bonds at $1,000 each. Possession of cannabis less than 20 grams, bond is set at $250. And possession of drug paraphernalia, bond is set at $100. You do qualify for the public defender, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Thank you, sir. So next would be Amanda Ratliff. Good afternoon, Ms. Ratliff. You were arrested and charged with possession of alprazolam, possession of methyl, just anyone, phenidate, possession of drug paraphernalia, and possession of a prescription drug without a script. I've reviewed the affidavit in your case. I do find probable cause on all counts. I'm going to set your bonds as follows. On count 1, the possession of the alprazolam, $500. Count 2, possession of meth would be $500. And I'll stay the bonds on the possession of drug paraphernalia and possession of drug without a script at $100 each. You do qualify for the public defender, and I appoint the public defender to represent you. Thank you, ma'am. Luis Rivera Calderon.
Mental health, Your Honor.
He's mental health. All right, what do you want to do?
I'll waive the appearance, Your Honor.
Right, he does qualify for the public defender. I'll appoint the public defender to represent him. He's been arrested on Grand theft, third degree of a motor vehicle, and assault. I've reviewed the affidavit in that case. I find probable cause on both counts. I'll stay the bonds on that one. He's out on bond on 21 CF 8439, battery on a uniformed or licensed security officer. On that one, I am going to revoke the bond and set it at 0.
I'm not sure, are we on the out on bond? You're appointing us in all cases, just in case.
I'm sorry?
Are we appointed on the out on bond case? I just want to make sure since he's.
Yes, I appointed you on the out on bond. I appointed, if you're not appointed on the first, on the one I just revoked, I'll appoint you on that one also.
Thank you.
Thanks. Francisco Rodriguez? Good afternoon, Mr. Rodriguez. Sir, you're charged with burglary of an unoccupied structure or conveyance and petty theft. I've reviewed the affidavit in the case. I do find probable cause on both counts. You do qualify for the public defender. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. I'm going to stay the bond on the petty theft. Yeah, this is one, I'm staying the bond on both cases. Thanks. Thank you, sir. And Jesse Summerall? On him? 2-1, or you want it?
21018046. Thank you.
Oh, so this isn't Mr. Summerall? Okay, bonded. All right, and that's it on felonies. So is this, sir, I cannot pronounce your last name. It's Boris Gio. All right, sorry. All right, sir, you're here on a warrant for failing to appear. The underlying charge is possession of drug paraphernalia, and the bond amount on your warrant is $250. You qualify for the public defender, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Thank you. He has a private attorney?
Okay.
He actually qualified. All right, do you have a lawyer on that?
Yes, I had a lawyer.
Who's your lawyer?
I don't remember his name.
Oh, Dominic Sikorsky?
Dominic Sigorsky.
Dominic Sikorsky? All right, I'll unappoint the public defender then.
Okay, thank
All right, thank you, sir. You need to contact him. All right, John McManus? Good afternoon, sir. Mr. McManus, you're here on a failure to appear warrant. The underlying charge is trespass on property other than a structure. Your bond on that was set at $2,000. You do qualify for the public defender. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you.
In your honor, the offer to resolve the trespass is an adjudication of guilt, credit time served and no return to 5820 Edgewater Drive, Orlando, Florida, 32810. I did speak to Mr. McManus, and he wants to resolve the case today.
Okay, so this is an adjudication, time served?
Yes, your honor.
He's got 3 days then? Do we know how much he has?
Not this one, this is a different one. I don't know.
Do you know how much time McManus has? All right, sir, while she's looking it up, raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
Let me see the attorneys at the bench, please. All right, sir, I'm going to let your attorney explain this to you. We'll be unable to take your plea today. So the warrant, your bond remains at $2,000, and the PD is appointed to represent you. Thank you. All right, Jeffrey Stone? Is this a plea?
Yes, Your Honor, and
Okay.
the amount of days are 13.
13?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, sir, you were arrested on a failure to appear. The underlying charge is petty theft, so the plea is to the petty theft, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Raise your right hand. Solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? State your name and your date of birth.
Raymond Stone, 52964.
All right, sir, petty theft, is he charged with a first-degree misdemeanor? Do you know? Well, he has a prior theft, so that would make it a first.
Yes,
All
Your
right.
Honor. I did go over the offer with him. I did explain that petty theft is an enhanceable offense. He understands all of those things. He understands the rights he would be given up and would like to accept the state's offer of an adjudication of guilt, credit time served, and no return to 3101 West Princeton Street, Orlando, Florida, 32808.
All right, sir. Petty theft is a first-degree felony. The maximum sentence, or first-degree misdemeanor, the maximum sentence is 1 year, but it is an enhanceable offense, as your attorney stated. Further convictions can push you into felony range. Right, have you read and understood the plea form that's in front of you? And you can read and write in English?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that by entering this plea, you're giving up all of the rights that are listed on that form?
Ma'am.
Do you have a chance to talk, or do you also understand that if you're not a United States citizen, you're subject to deportation by entering this plea?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. To the charge of petty theft, how do you plead?
No contest.
I'll accept your plea. I find you alert and intelligent. You understand the nature of the charges against you, the consequence of entering your plea, and the rights you're giving up by entering this plea. You've been represented by counsel with whom you say you're satisfied. And the plea's freely and voluntarily given. Is there any legal cause I can't pronounce sentence?
No, Your Honor.
All right, sir, at this time, the court is going to adjudicate you to be guilty, sentence you to 13 days in the county jail with credit for 13 days' time served. You may not return to the property at 3101, what street was it?
West Princeton Street.
West Princeton Street. Court costs are $323? $323. I'll give you 1 year to pay those through the clerk of the court. You have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed to represent you. Good luck to you, sir. All right. So is this Junior Claremont? All right, Mr. Claremont, good afternoon, sir. You were charged with driving with a suspended license. You do qualify for the public defender. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. I've reviewed this. I find probable cause on the suspended license and possession of cannabis under 20 grams. I've reviewed that, and I do find probable cause on that count. Your bond is stayed on the suspended license at $500. On the possession of cannabis, I'll reduce your bond to $250. Thank you, sir. So I would have Sylvanus Modesti. He bonded, okay. Derek Brooks. Good afternoon, Mr. Brooks. Mr. Brooks, you're charged with petty theft, resisting an officer without violence, and battery. I've reviewed the affidavit in this case. I do find probable cause on all 3 counts, and I'm going to stay the bond on all 3 counts. You do qualify for the public defender. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Thank you. Joshua Rodriguez? No? Do we know what happened to him? Did he bond?
Probably.
21018053.
Joshua Bud.
Okay, thank you. Janine Salgoni,
She's behavior, Your Honor.
she refused to come?
She has a behavior issue.
Okay, I'm gonna find that she waived her appearance today. I will provisionally appoint the public defender to represent her, subject to her filling out the paperwork. She was arrested and charged with trespass on property after warning. Reviewed the affidavit in that case. I do find probable cause, and I'm going to stay the bond in that matter. She's also out on bond on 2 cases. 21 CF 5883, possession of methamphetamines, possession of drug paraphernalia, and 21 CF 4114, battery on a security officer. On both those cases, I'm revoking her bond and setting them at 0. Then we have Mark Andrews. Good afternoon, Mr. Andrews. Mr. Andrews, you were arrested on an out-of-county warrant out of Palm Beach County. The warrant is for grand theft. Your bond is set at $1,000 on that case, sir. All right, thank you. And can I assume the next set, Earl, please? Luis Almonte? Louis Almonte? Hello, Mr. Almonte. Mr. Almonte, you were arrested on a charge of disorderly conduct. Reviewed the affidavit in your case. I do find probable cause. I am going to provisionally appoint the public defender pending you filling out the paperwork. Is there an offer on this case from the state?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, this one was stuck to my other page. It's a withhold credit time served.
Okay.
Resolve the case today. Would you like to resolve it? It is, sorry.
Today's August 1st, right? Okay, thanks. I'm losing track.
Your Honor, the offer to resolve is a withhold of adjudication credit time served. And Mr. Almonte would like to accept the state's offer here today.
All right. No. Since this is Joe Gibson's, I was going to cut that off. All right, sir, can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, state your name and your date of birth.
Louis Almonte, 3/12/57.
All right, you can put your hand down, Mr. Almonte. All right, Mr. Almonte, you're charged with disorderly conduct, second-degree misdemeanor, maximum sentence 60 days. Can you read and write in English?
Yes.
You have that plea form in front of you. Did you read and understand it before you signed it?
Yes.
All right, do you understand that by entering this plea, you're giving up all the rights that are listed on that form?
Yeah.
Do you understand that if you've ever been, if you are not a United States citizen, the entry of the plea subjects you to being deported?
Yes.
All right, is this what you wish to do?
Yes.
Enter the plea? All right, to the charge of disorderly conduct, how do you plead?
No contest.
I'll accept your plea. I find you're alert and intelligent. You understand the nature of the charges against you, the consequence of entering your plea, the plea is freely and voluntarily given after advice of counsel. Is there any legal cause I can't pronounce sentence?
No, Your Honor.
All right, sir, at this time, the court's going to withhold adjudication, sentence you to 2 days in jail with credit for 2 days' time served. Court costs are $223. I'll give you a year to pay those off through the clerk's office. You have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed to represent you. Good luck to you, sir. And I also have Venica Sales.